Thank you, Presiding Officer. The First Minister has said that he cannot see how international law has been respected by the United States in its military intervention in Venezuela, and has said that the international community must now ensure that de-escalation, diplomacy and democracy follow. While it is the case that defence is a matter reserved to the UK Government, Wick John O'Groats Airport is Scottish Government owned, so reports that it is being used to support US military operations in relation to Venezuela are alarming. So can I ask whether the First Minister was made aware of the intention to use this airport to support yesterday's action, and given his expressed views, what assurance can he give to my constituents in the North East that their Scottish Government-owned infrastructure is not being used as a staging post to violate international law?
First Minister.
I think we've got to be really careful here about the different issues that are at stake here. The comments that I made at the start of this week about the situation in Venezuela are a matter of the public record, and I reaffirm those comments today. I believe in the international rules-based system, but having listened carefully to what has been said by the United States administration, I cannot see how international law has been respected in that case. Now, that is one circumstance. There is another circumstance, which is the incident involving the tanker. Now, I have, and the Government has, no knowledge as to whether or not aircraft that landed at Wick Airport on the morning of the 7th of January yesterday were involved in that initiative. We have no knowledge of whether that is the case or not. What I can tell Parliament, for transparency, is that Wick Airport is regularly used by aircraft to refuel to enable them to make journeys across the Atlantic and into the Arctic areas. That has been a long-standing part of activity, but Hans Hans Airports Limited do not scrutinise the basis on which any requests for landing are made in these circumstances. But I stress the Government and Hans Hans Airports do not have any knowledge of whether the aircraft that landed yesterday were used in the US-UK operation against the Russian tanker. And I conclude by saying two things. Firstly, that this is, of course, a matter that is reserved to the United Kingdom Government. And secondly, where sanctions are applied, and if they're applied in relation to Russia, I am a firm supporter of those sanctions being enforced, because there is no point in applying sanctions to governments that ignore international law, that undermine the rule of law, that invade independent countries in the way that Russia has invaded Ukraine without taking action where those sanctions are applied. And on that point of principle, I'm happy to set out the Scottish Government's position.